Hello, and welcome back to Word Unlocked. I'm Jake.
And I'm Sarah. And today's word is about fear, but not the dramatic horror movie kind, the everyday kind, the kind that makes you hesitate before sending an email, or back out of a deal, or avoid a conversation you know you need to have.
Yes, this word covers everything from mild intimidation to genuine terror, and it has some very useful forms that show up constantly in professional life. Sarah, the word.
Frighten.
Frighten. Let's learn it.
Frighten means to cause fear in someone, either a sudden fear, a shock, or a slower fear, intimidation, anxiety about something coming. Both are frighten. The source creates the fear, the person receives it.
And what makes today's word interesting, most of its useful chunks are not about being chased by something scary. They're about everyday professional fears, intimidation, hesitation, the quiet anxiety about consequences. Let's go through them.
Now the chunks.
Chunk 1. Frighten someone away or frightened off. Something about your product, your price, your process, your language causes a potential client or investor or candidate to back away before they even fully engage.
For example, the price point frightened away 3 potential clients this month. They were interested, they looked, and then that number, and they left, frightened away.
Frighten away is very useful in business analysis. When you are losing people before conversion, you look for what is frightening them away. The friction, the barrier, the thing that makes them back off before saying yes.
Remove the thing that frightens people away, and suddenly the path to yes becomes much shorter.
Chunk 2. Frightened by something. The passive state. Something happened or something exists, and you feel the fear it creates. You are frightened by it.
For example, she was frightened by how fast the situation escalated. She didn't expect it to move so quickly. The speed, the intensity frightened her. She was frightened by it.
Frightened by is often used in situations where the fear is reactive. Something external caused it. You didn't choose the fear. The situation created it and you received it.
Chunk 3. Frightened to do something. The fear is so strong that it stops action completely. You know you should do the thing, but the consequences, real or imagined, are too intimidating. You are frightened to do it.
Chunk 3. Frightened to do something. The fear is so strong that it stops action completely. You know you should do the thing, but the consequences, real or imagined, are too intimidating. You are frightened to do it.
For example, he was frightened to ask for the deadline extension. He needed it. He knew he needed it, but the thought of the conversation, the potential reaction, frightened him enough to avoid it completely.
Frightened to do something is the fear that creates inaction, and inaction usually makes the situation worse. The longer you wait to have the difficult conversation, the more difficult it becomes.
The thing you are frightened to do is almost always the thing most worth doing. That specific fear is almost always pointing at something important.
Chunk 4. Frighteningly. The adverb. Something is happening at such an extreme level that it actually creates anxiety just observing it.
For example, the competitor's growth rate is frighteningly fast. Not just fast, frighteningly fast. So fast that it creates genuine concern. It's no longer just impressive, it's anxiety-inducing, frighteningly fast.
Frighteningly is one of those adverbs that immediately escalates whatever comes after it. Frighteningly accurate, frighteningly expensive, frighteningly quiet. Whatever the word, frighteningly makes it extreme.
And chunk 5, a frightening prospect, a future possibility, an upcoming situation that just thinking about it creates significant anxiety. The prospect itself, before it has even happened, is frightening.
For example, Presenting to 500 people with no preparation is a frightening prospect. It hasn't happened, it might never happen, but the image of it, the possibility, that is a frightening prospect.
A frightening prospect is useful because it separates the fear from the reality. The prospect is frightening. The actual event, when it arrives, is usually less frightening than the prospect suggested.
2 stories. Mine first, about Frighten away. A few years ago, I was working with a small company on their client onboarding process. New clients would show interest, have positive initial conversations, and then disappear. No reply, no explanation, just gone. We looked at every stage. What was frightening them away? And we found it. The contract, 12 pages, dense legal language, complicated clauses, conditions within conditions. For a large company, manageable. For a small business owner or individual, frightening. They saw 12 pages of complexity and left before reading a single line.
What did you do?
We created a 2-page plain language summary. The 12 pages still existed, legally necessary, but the first document they saw was 2 pages. Simple language, clear terms, the key points only. The disappearance rate dropped significantly because we had removed the thing that was frightening people away, not the contract, the overwhelming first impression of the contract.
You didn't change the product. You changed what was frightening people before they could experience the product.
Exactly. Frighten away is always about finding the specific barrier and reducing it, or reframing it, so people can move past it.
My story is about frightened to do something, and it is about a conversation I put off for far too long. A few years ago, I was in a working situation where something was genuinely not working for me, a specific arrangement that was affecting my productivity and my well-being. I knew what I needed to say. I had the words. I had rehearsed them, but I was frightened to say them. Frightened of the reaction. Frightened of seeming difficult. Frightened that the conversation would make things worse. So I waited. Weeks. Then months, and the situation, as unaddressed situations always do, got worse. Not dramatically, just quietly worse, more draining, more unsustainable.
Curious, what finally made you have the conversation?
A point where continuing was more frightening than speaking up. The fear of the conversation finally became smaller than the fear of things staying the same. I had the conversation. It was uncomfortable for about 10 minutes, and then it was resolved, quickly, reasonably. The person on the other side was far less frightening in reality than they had been in my imagination.
As they almost always are.
Almost always. The conversation we are frightened to have, the actual version, is almost always shorter and less dramatic than the version we rehearsed in our heads at 2 a.m.
Have the conversation sooner, before the situation outgrows the fear. Okay, let's finish. Frighten. To cause fear in someone through something external or through the anticipation of something coming in business, in relationships, in your own head.
Your 5 chunks. Frighten someone away or frighten off, causing a potential client or person to back away before fully engaging. Frightened by something, the passive state of receiving fear from an external situation or event. Frightened to do something, being so intimidated by potential consequences that you avoid taking an action completely. Frighteningly, an adverb that escalates whatever follows to an extreme, anxiety-inducing level. And a frightening prospect, a future possibility that creates anxiety just thinking about it.
Homework today. Think of one thing you are currently frightened to do. Name it and then ask, what specifically am I frightened of? The action itself or the imagined consequence? Because those are different fears and they have different solutions.
The thing you are frightened to do is usually the thing most worth doing. The fear is pointing at something important. Trust that and take one small step towards it.
Small steps towards frightening things. That is where growth lives.
Thanks for listening to Word Unlocked. See you next time.
Stay curious. Do the frightening thing. Later.
Was that frightening to say?
frighteningly easy.